Hello! Finally, I know. Went on an adventure to do the research, but we are going to continue where we left off in episode 2.1. Various written forms developed alongside the different spoken languages over thousands of years, until Qin Shi Huang standardized the written language for the first time after the unification of China in 221 BC. The written Chinese ever since then has further developed through many dynasty and political transitions. For thousands of years, classical Chinese, or the literary Chinese, was the formal writing system. It is known for being extremely elegant, concise, and compact. However, it was very difficult for common people to learn because of its heavy use of literary references and allusions, extremely abbreviated style, as well as its grammar and vocabularies, which had become more and more different from the colloquial use of the language over the years. A variety of written vernacular forms had existed and evolved for many years alongside classical Chinese, and as time went by, the debate about which one is better got more and more heated. We can get into the history of that some other time. The use of modern written Chinese, now shared by Chinese speakers of all varieties, was not standardized till the late 1910s, early 1920s, after the New Culture movement, under the influence of the Western language and ideologies. The modern written Chinese is a refined written vernacular form based on the official Mandarin Chinese, so inevitably, its syntax and choice of word can be somewhat inconsistent with the vernacular use of other spoken variations. Written Chinese is a language of logogram that uses logographic symbols, characters, to represent a word or a phrase. As opposed to the phonetic English, the traditional Chinese characters are long established. They are still taught and endorsed in Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. On the other hand, simplified Chinese was introduced by the PRC all over mainland China in the 1950s to 60s to encourage literacy, which split the modern written Chinese into two systems. But they have lost some of the traditional characteristics of Chinese characters, and the effect remains controversial. While speakers of all varieties of Chinese pronounce the characters according to their respective phonetic and tonal systems, they share a somewhat universal database of characters that, despite being mutually unintelligible, still allows them to communicate in written form. Think of it as the Arabic numbers, which are understood as the same idea across the world, but spoken in all kinds of different ways. Written Chinese works the same way. Now, written forms based on other spoken variations do exist aside from the standardized modern written Chinese, but instead of resembling Mandarin, they incorporate their own syntax and local terms, commonly used in informal communications. They are sometimes used in movie subtitles and news articles too, as there is just no good enough equivalent in written Chinese for a certain Cantonese phrase or word. So yes, there is written Cantonese. The subtitles you saw in episode 1 and 3 are examples of written Cantonese. Hopefully made it easier for our audience to match word by word and learn to speak it. Alright, got the complicated part out of the way. Yes, it is confusing. Well, it's language, you know. It is alive and ever-changing. Well, that's it for now. This is Lunguage. We'll see you next time.